Hi, this yoga practice will be a hip opening, slow flow, lots of pigeon variations yoga class. It'll be about an intermediate level. I will offer modifications if you need them. And it will be helpful to have a block or two, yoga blocks, handy for this practice. And I'm starting off sitting on a folded blanket. Maybe you have a bolster or a folded bath towel that you can sit on. It just provides a little more ease for the spine to sit on some kind of elevation. So we'll start seated, please. And when you find your comfortable seat, then please close your eyes. And just take a few deeper breaths in and out of your nose, just clearing away any mental or energetic activity that you brought to your mat with you, so that you start your practice off with a very clear, open, spacious mind. Begin to breathe a little more fully into the base of your lungs. So it's a smooth, even breath in and out of your nose. And you're just pulling the air in deeper to the base of your lungs. Internally, you're observing the diaphragm muscle rising and falling. So it lowers down on the inhale, and it domes back upwards on the exhale. Can your breath be the single most important place where you focus your attention right now? And you're establishing this even, full, smooth breathing pattern that you'll carry with you throughout the next hour or so. And let's do 2 more breaths here. And on your inhale, let's reach the arms up overhead. As you exhale, take your right hand down, lean over to the right. Same exhale, you'll just swing your body low and over to the left. Plant that hand down and pull your right arm back. Pull even your shoulder back. And then as you exhale, you swing low to the ground over to the right. And you'll just keep going back and forth like this. Inhale as you side bend and open. Exhale as you swing over to the other side. Only go as far forward as you'd like, that it still feels okay for your low back. On the exhale. And on the inhale, you're pushing one hand down into the floor, almost like you're rebounding out of that hand as you pull one shoulder back. Let's go one more time to each side. Big full breaths through the nose. Last time over to the left. Okay, good. And then let's come just right up through center, and we'll twist to the right. Left hand to the right leg, right hand behind you. Lift up through the spine, up through the crown of the head, and twist. Inhale back through center, and exhale, take this twist to the left. Keep the spine elongating up through the crown of the head. Come back through center. Okay, let's come on to all fours, please. Begin to move through your cat-cow when you're on hands and knees, so arching on the inhale and round on the exhale. And on the inhale, you pull the shoulder blades down the back and look forward, tilt the tailbone. On the exhale, you push your hands into the floor and pull the navel back away from the floor. Do this 2 more times. Inhale and arch. Exhale and round. So we're going to add on to this. So inhale and arch as you look forward. This is the cow shape. And exhale, come back to child's pose. Your hips come back over your heels, your arms are reaching forward. Take one more breath here. Maybe the forehead comes down to the floor. On your next inhale, walk the hands back in towards you and come upright in the spine. And then bring the hands to the floor behind you, under your shoulders. Let's inhale and lift up through the hips. Exhale, lower the hips down. Rise high up onto your knees. Take your arms up, look up. And exhale, bring your hands down to the floor. So each time we go through that, we're going to add on. So arch on the inhale from all fours. Come back to child's pose on the exhale. Come upright, walking your hands towards the back of your mat. Bring the hands under your shoulders. Inhale, lift your hips, tops of the feet press down. Exhale, lower the hips down. Inhale, come up to high kneeling, arms reach up overhead. Take the right foot out to the side and side bend over the right leg. Inhale, come back upright, bringing the right knee under you. Left leg out to the side. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale, left knee comes under you. Exhale, hands come to the floor. Inhale and arch through the spine. Exhale, pull the belly back as you move your hips back to child's pose. Walk the hands to the back of the mat, come upright in the spine. Inhale, push your hips up, push into the tops of the feet. Exhale, lower the hips down. Round the arms forward like you're hugging a big beach ball. Inhale, come upright, arms reach up. You're standing on your knees, right foot out to the side. Side bend over the right leg. Inhale, come upright with your torso. Left hand comes down to the floor. Circle your top arm, your right arm around. Inhale, come upright. Exhale, side bend over the right leg. Inhale, reach up through the arms. Exhale, left hand comes down. Circle your top arm around once, and then pick up your right leg, bend the knee, hold on to the foot. So spread the toes, pull the foot, the leg back behind you. Send your hips forward, your heart forward. Engaging your left glutes here to keep the hips moving forward. And then let's release the right foot, place it at the top of the mat. Bring your right hand down. Both hands are under the shoulders. Curl your left toes under. Pick the left knee up, swing it out to the side, and here you are in a side lunge towards the back of the mat. Your side lunge in the left knee. And then take this up to the right knee, so your side lunge towards the front of the mat. And then lunge facing forward. Runner's lunge facing forward. Left hand under the shoulder. Inhale, right arm opens and you twist. Take the right hand down and come into downward facing dog, please. You can pedal out through your legs here, alternate bending your knees, lifting and lowering one heel at a time, just getting some length going on in the back of the legs and in the back of the hips. Lower the knees down to the floor. Inhale, arch coming into your cow. Exhale, round back to child's pose. Walk your hands to the back of the mat. You're upright in the spine. Push down into the tops of your feet and lift up through the hips. And lower the hips down. As you exhale, wrap your arms forward like you're hugging a big beach ball, broaden across the shoulder blades. Inhale, come upright, standing on your knees. Step your left foot out to the side. Exhale, side bend over the left leg. Inhale, come upright. Place the right hand down. Circle your top arm around, forward and around. Come back upright, inhale. Exhale, side bend over the left leg. Inhale, come upright. Exhale, right hand down. Circle your top arm around once. And then when your top arm is reaching back towards your straight leg, pick up your left leg, bend the knee, hold the foot. Pull the foot back behind you, spread the toes, and try to send your hips forward, your heart forward. Your right glutes are doing some work here to keep the hips going forward. Release the left foot and place it at the top of your mat. Lower both hands down under your shoulders. Curl your right toes under, pick the knee up, right knee, and swing it out to the side, and you're in a side lunge to the back of the mat. Side lunge to the front of the mat. Regular runner's lunge facing forward, so left toes turn forward, right hand under the shoulder, inhale, left arm opens up and you twist. And the left hand comes down and come back into downward facing dog. And again, you can pedal out through your feet here if you'd like. Alternate bending your knees. Take one more breath here in your downward facing dog. Exhale and lower the knees to the floor. Inhale, arch as you look forward. Exhale, hips back to child's pose. Walk your hands to the back of the mat. Push into the tops of the feet. Inhale, lift the hips, lift the heart up towards the ceiling. Exhale, lower the hips down and round your arms forward, just getting broad across the upper back. Inhale, rise up high onto the knees, right foot out to the side, leg out to the side. Exhale, side bend over the right leg. Inhale, come up, hook your thumbs, and lean halfway over to the left. So make your spine in long line, in line with your right leg. So you're just holding this. Your obliques are breaking you from crashing down. Pushing into the right foot. This should be a lot of core work. Inhale, come upright. Exhale, side bend over the right leg. Inhale, both arms reach up. Exhale, left hand comes down. One big circle through your top arm. And now you're going to pick up your right leg rather than going for quad stretch. We're going to swing the leg straight to the front of the mat and then to the back of the mat. And your top arm is moving opposite of your right leg. So as the leg goes forward, the arm sweeps back and vice versa. And you're making big arcing movements with both limbs. So how high can you get the leg as you transition it, and then you tap the toe down to the front and then to the back of the mat. And next time your right foot is to the front, just place it there. Right hand comes down under the shoulder. Curl your left toes under, pick up the knee, swing it out to the side. Side lunge, we're adding on again. So pivot on your feet to face the back of your mat. You're in a lunge. And keep pivoting your feet around to the left. Your left toes turn out, and you're on the edge of your back foot. And then lower your right hip down. You might need to heel toe your left foot down the mat a bit. The hips come down, or the right hip down, and then your left arm comes around behind you, and you look towards the front of your mat. Starting to get into the hips here already. And then you swing your left arm around. We'll come out the same way we came in. So just pivot around on your feet, starting in a side lunge in the left leg. And then you're in a side lunge in the right knee towards the front of the mat. And then you lunge facing the front. Coming into the twist, left hand down, inhale, right arm opens up. And then place the right hand down and come into downward facing dog. We'll do a low vinyasa this time here. So take another breath in downward dog. On the exhale, lower the knees down and just bring your whole front body down to the floor. The chest is between the hands, tops of the feet down. Inhale up into cobra. You can keep it low here. Stay here as you exhale. Draw the shoulders back and down. Inhale. And exhale to all fours. Inhale and arch through the spine, look forward. Exhale, take it back to child's pose. Walk your hands back to the back of your mat. Inhale and lift up your hips. Exhale, lower the hips down and just pretend you're just holding onto a big beach ball in front of you. You round your arms around it. Inhale, come up, stand on your knees. Left leg out to the side. Exhale, side bend, left. Inhale, come upright. Place the right hand down. Circle through your top arm once. And then as your top arm reaches over your left leg, you're going to start to swing your left arm and leg opposite of each other. So as your left leg comes forward, taps down, swing it to the back of the mat, and then just move your arm in the opposite direction. Now, engage the right glutes here so that your hips aren't moving around. It's just the two limbs, the one arm and the one leg. Tapping the foot down, never really weight bearing on that left foot. And next time your left foot is to the top of the mat, place it down. Bring your left hand down, curl the right toes under. Pick up the knee, swing it out to the side. You're in a side lunge in your right knee. Pivot around on your feet so you face the back of your mat. Keep pivoting around until the right toes turn out and you're on the outer edge of your back foot. Your left hand is under the shoulder, and then you lower your left hip down. You might need to heel toe your right foot down a bit until the left hip comes down and your right arm comes around to the floor behind you and you look towards the front of the mat. We're going to unwind this the same way we came in. So your right arm comes up and around. Come into a lunge and then a side lunge facing the long edge of your mat. Side lunge into your left knee so you're towards the front of the mat. Lunge facing forward and twist. Left arm reaches up as you twist. Lower the hand down. And then we'll just step up into a squat. So bring your right foot forward, turn the toes out. Your feet are nice and wide on the mat. The wider your feet are generally, and the more likely you can get your heels down to the floor. If the heels do not come down, the Achilles are probably a little bit tight, the back of the ankles. So you can slide a folded blanket under your heels or a folded towel. You're pushing the palms into each other and you're lifting up through the spine. And if your knees don't like this, you can be higher up, forearms on the thighs, hips a little higher up. Getting some length here through the spine, from the tailbone all the way up through the base of the skull. One more breath here. Lower your hands to the floor, lift your hips, heel toe your feet in, forward fold, Uttanasana, let the head hang. Hands can be on blocks here if you'd like, or the knees can be bent, or both. Breathe in and out of the nose. Close the eyes here for just a moment. And then let's push down into the feet and rise all the way up to stand. Arms reach up at the top. Inhale. Hands come to the heart. Exhale. All right. Lower the arms down by your side. Inhale, reach the arms up, touch the palms together overhead, and then bend the elbows and bring the thumbs to the back of your head. Point your elbows up and lean your head back into the base of your thumbs. So push into your feet, firm your legs, lift your heart, and you're curling from the upper back. Your tailbone is lengthening down. There's some engagement to your core here to stabilize you. And then let's inhale, lift the head and reach the arms up. And exhale, bring your hands right down through center, coming into forward fold Uttanasana. Bend your knees, lengthen halfway. Step the right foot back and lower the knee. Inhale, the arms rise up to Anjaneyasana. Exhale, hands come to the floor and you'll step back. We'll start with a low vinyasa, so step back to plank. Lower the knees down and come all the way down to the belly. Point the toes back. Roll the shoulders back. Inhale, rise up to cobra, lifting the upper body. Exhale to downward facing dog. And every time we have these moments of pause, you reconnect with your breath. So you try to establish that smooth, steady, even breath rhythm that you found in the beginning of this class when you were seated. And then your job is to try to maintain that smooth, steady breath even when you're flowing, when you're moving, especially when you're in a difficult pose. Let's walk the hands back towards the feet. Uttanasana, back of the mat. Push down into the feet, bend the knees, and inhale, reach the arms up, come into chair pose. All right, cross the right ankle over the left knee, and then keep your arms straight, reaching them out long, and then start to hinge forward. So stick the butt back, take the arms forward, flex the right ankle, exhale here. Inhale, pull the elbows back, bend the elbows and send your heart forward. Exhale, reach your arms forward. Look down. Inhale, pull the elbows back and look forward. Exhale, reach forward. The weight is in the heel of your left foot. Inhale, pull the elbows back, send your spine forward. Exhale, reach the arms forward. Rise upright and place the right foot down, chair pose. Straighten your legs, inhale. Exhale, come forward and down, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Walk your hands forward to downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg rises behind you. Step the right foot outside the right hand. We're going to bring this left leg under us and forward of us. So it'll be a little step through. And it might help to have your left hand on a block to give you a little bit more ground clearance. So you're going to push into the left hand and bring the left leg directly under you and forward and sit down on your bum. Okay, hands to the floor behind you. And I'm at a bit of a diagonal to the mat here. So right foot is still down, hands are on the floor under the shoulders. Push into the hands and your right foot. Lift up your hips. Keep the left leg straight at first, reaching forward, and then bend the left knee and cross the ankle over the right thigh. Lift your hips even higher. So we're in a reverse table with a pigeon element to it. Lower the hips down. So we're going to come in a little bit closer here, getting into a little more into the hips. So bring first your left leg between that little keyhole space between your legs and hold on to the right outer shin. And then bring your right hand around the outside of the right leg and interlace your fingers around the shin. Now use your strength of your arms to pull your upper body in closer towards your legs. Keep the left ankle flexed, keep the spine lifted. One more breath here. Hands can always be on the floor behind you if this is too intense. Let's release first the left hand back under the shoulder, and then the right hand will come out the same way we came in. So push down into the hands and the right foot and lift up your hips, reverse table variation. And then extend your left leg. Walk your hands closer in towards the hips. Push into the left hand, swing the left leg behind you and down into a lunge. So here we are, just in a regular runner's lunge. Adjust the feet so the front heel is under the knee, the back leg is reaching straight back, and we'll rise up to crescent warrior. Inhale, the arms reach. Exhale, lower the back heel, come into warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, right forearm to thigh, side angle pose. Reach out long through the top arm. Let's stay here for a few more breaths. So make sure the right knee is pointing straight forward and the back foot is pushing down into the floor. And then lengthen both sides of your spine forward and pull your left shoulder back. And breathe. One more breath. And as you inhale, let's come back up to warrior two. Exhale, windmill your hands down to the floor, runner's lunge. Level out your hips here. We're going to come back up into a squat. So step your left foot forward, turn your toes out, and lower your hips. Okay. So we're going to add another element to this squat, and I'm just going to angle myself towards you a little bit. So here, we're going to start to swivel the hips towards one ankle and then the other. So you're kind of like slow motion wagging your hips from side to side. And as you move the hips towards that one heel, you lift that heel up. So you're alternating lifting and lowering your heels. And for now, we have the elbows at the inner knees. But the more you come off of the legs, take the arms off of the legs, be more upright, the more it's going to get into the legs. You're going to feel more of a strengthening component to this pose. And if you want to reach the arms up, maybe interlace the fingers, push the palms up, keep that lifting and lowering of one heel and then the other. Keep more upright in the upper body. You're shifting your hips from one side to the other. You might start to be feeling this now, the work in your thighs, maybe in the calves too. Lower the hands to the floor, forward fold. Heel toe the feet so they're hips distance apart. Inner edges of the feet are parallel. Let the upper body fold downward. Knees can be bent if the back of the legs are tight or if the low back is tight. Smooth, even breaths here. And then push down into the feet, bend the knees a little bit, come up to stand, arms reach up at the top, inhale, press the palms together, bend the elbows, bring the hands to the back of your head, the thumbs to the back of the head. Lean the head back into the base of your thumbs, lift the elbows, push the feet down into the floor, and lift the elbows up towards the ceiling, and then even slightly back. And then rise up, inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands right down through the middle, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine halfway forward. Step the left foot back, lower the knee. Inhale, the arms reach up, Anjaneyasana, hips forward. Exhale, hands to the floor, step back, flow through your vinyasa. You can do full chaturanga or you can do knees down. And then you can come into cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale back to downward facing dog. Hips are high, hips are reaching back. Whether your heels are off the floor or down is not that important. The more you practice, the longer you practice, eventually the back of the legs will lengthen and likely the heels will come down or they'll come closer to the floor. But really, I want you to lengthen the spine. So if that means your knees are bent and your heels are high, that's fine. Reach out through the spine. Try to reach your hips back away from your hands. And then let's walk the hands back towards the feet. Uttanasana. Push down into the feet, bend the knees a little bit, rise up to stand, arms reach up at the top. And then you'll bend the knees here, chair pose, and then you'll cross the left ankle over the right. We're more than likely you'll be more wobbly on one foot than the other, as I am. I'm trying not to fall over. And this is just normal. And sometimes it switches from one foot to the other. So let's hinge forward a little bit, stick the butt back, reach the arms forward. And if this is too much on the low back, bring the hands to your hips. Exhale here as you reach the arms. Inhale, pull the elbows back and send your spine forward. Look forward. Exhale, reach forward with the arms and look down. Inhale, bum is back, heart is reaching forward. Exhale, arms lengthen forward. Oops, one more time. Bend the elbows, inhale, reach. I know I'm challenging the balance a little bit. Exhale, arms forward. And then just come upright with your torso. Place the left foot down. Straighten the legs. Reach up, Urdhva Hastasana, look up. Exhale, come forward and down. Uttanasana. Bend the knees, lengthen halfway forward. Ardha Uttanasana. Walk the hands forward. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Check that your feet are symmetrical and your hands are symmetrical. Inhale, your left leg rises behind you, three-legged dog. Step the left foot outside the left hand. So now the right leg is going to come under you and forward. I had to move my block so I don't kick it with my right foot. So the weight will be in your left foot, your right hand. And you pick up your back leg, take it under you, lengthen it forward, and sit down on your bum. Hands to the floor behind you, right under the shoulders. We're going to come up into a reverse table, one-legged reverse table. So push into the left foot, lift your hips, keep your right leg extended, hips high, and then bend the right knee, cross the ankle over the left thigh. Lift the hips up a little more. Keep the right ankle flexed. Lower the hips down. So we're going to curl ourselves in. So we first bring the right hand between that little keyhole between your legs. Hold on to the outer left shin. Bring your left hand around the outside of the leg. Interlace your fingers and pull yourself in tight. Squeeze into a tighter ball. We do this pose often on our back, right? This is our figure 4 pose or our thread the needle pose. We're just doing the same thing, but just sitting upright. So lift your spine, flex the right ankle, pull yourself in. And then let's just unwind that whole sequence. Hands come to the floor one at a time, hands to the floor behind you. Push into the left foot, let's lift up through the hips, reverse table, and extend your right leg. Walk your hands in more towards the hips, and then you push into the right hand, lift your hips, send the right leg back into a lunge, and then just adjust your feet so that when you come up to crescent warrior, you keep your balance. So push into your left heel, inhale, your arms rise up, crescent warrior. Exhale, lower your back heel, warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, forearm to thigh, side angle pose, top arm reaches over. We are going to revisit this pose on the next go through of this sequence. And the next time we come into it, you have the option of taking it lower, hand to block or to floor. But for now, we're just exploring the more basic variation of this pose. We're creating length and extension in the back leg, through the top arm, through the spine, and you're breathing. Inhale, come up to warrior two. Exhale, windmill your hands to the floor. Level out your hips, come into a runner's lunge. And now we're going to come back into a squat, but this time the feet will be together. So bring your right foot forward and lift your heels. Bring the inner edges of your feet together. And your heels are high and your hips are down. And now you're going to be up on your fingertips. And I want enough room so that you can move your knees out and in without scraping your arms. So this may mean that your fingers need to be on a block, or maybe you have extra long arms and you can just push them down into the floor just right in front of you. Now keep pressing the inner edges of your feet together and just flap your knees in and out. And it's not momentum flapping. You are creating a resistance. You're creating some engagement of pushing the inner feet together and just taking the knees out and in, out and in, out and in. Let's go for 4, 3, 2, 1. Take the knees out, straighten the legs, fold forward, heels come down, Uttanasana. And then come right back into it. Lift the heels, come down into a squat with the knees wide. Out and in, out and in, out and in. And then knees come wide. Exhale, fold it forward, straighten the legs, heels come down. Inhale, come right back into the squat with the knees wide. Out and in, out and in, out and in. Let's do 2 more. Knees come wide, straighten the legs, fold forward. Come back into the squat. This is the last one. Flapping the knees in and out. Out and in, out and in. Just trying to get some heat built up in the legs. Keep the knees wide and forward fold. That's it. Take the feet hips distance apart. Inner edges of the feet parallel. And then just let yourself hang here for a moment. Let the skull be heavy. Get some length in the neck, the cervical spine. Maybe turn the head slowly side to side. And then head comes to center. Bend the knees a little bit. Push down into the feet. Inhale, rise up to stand. Arms reach up. Palms touch overhead. Bend the elbows, the thumbs to the back of the head. Lean your head back into the base of your thumbs. Lift your elbows up. Push down into the feet. Curl from the upper back. Come upright, inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands come right down through center, forward fold. Inhale, bend the knees, reach halfway forward. Exhale, right foot steps back, lower the knee. Inhale, the arms reach up, Anjaneyasana, hips are forward. Exhale, hands to the floor, step back and move through your vinyasa. Either full chaturanga or knees down. Cobra if you don't want to do much back bending today, or if you're taking care of your wrists. By the way, if you're taking care of your wrists, we're going to add on some arm balances. So as always, anything is optional. If the wrists just are not up for the job of doing arm balances, then I'll show you options. So walk your hands back towards your feet. Uttanasana. Bring the feet together to touch, bend the knees, inhale, your arms reach up, chair pose. Okay, same thing as last time. We'll come into our one-legged chair. One leg is up in pigeon. So cross the right ankle over the left knee. Bring your hands at your heart this time and lean forward. Stick the butt back, lean forward through the torso, and we're going to try to twist this. So let's bring the right forearm to the sole of the right foot. Left hand is on the hip here. I'm going to try not to look at you because I'll lose my balance. So just fix your gaze on one spot. So we're starting with the forearm to the sole of the foot, and then hold on to the heel with your left hand. Can you slide your right arm down even more, the foot, until you've got the elbow at the arch of the foot? And if that's just too deep of a twist, your low back doesn't like it, stay higher up. We're just letting the spine adjust to this shape. And then let's see if we can bring the upper arm to the sole of the foot. So hold on to the heel with your left hand. Can you bring the upper right arm to the sole of the foot? Keep the ankle flexed. And then if the upper arm is there, can you bring the palms together into prayer and twist a little more to the left? So your gaze is very steady. Your breath is steady. That will help with your balance. And we'll come out of this now. So unwind nice and slow. We don't want to shock the spine. Come upright. Lower the right foot down. Step into both feet. Inhale, reach up through the arms. Exhale, forward and down. Uttanasana. Bend your knees, lengthen halfway forward. Walk the hands forward to downward facing dog. Inhale, your right leg rises up behind you. Open the hip and bend the top knee. Pull the heel in closer towards the outer left hip, but send your outer left thigh back. As if you're trying to connect your top heel to the outer left thigh, as if. And then straighten the right leg, square off the hips. And let's bring this right shin forward into pigeon. So bring the outer shin forward, and the right knee is just behind the wrist. And the left foot, or the right foot, is somewhere over to the left. Maybe it's behind the left wrist, maybe it's under the hip, depending on your flexibility. So we're going to stay upright here for a moment. Walk the hands in a little bit higher up, maybe onto the leg, and this might be enough for you. We're going into more of a back bend, and then we're going to see if we can float the arms. Before you do that, I don't want this to all go into the low back. So we need to push down into this front shin, engage your legs, engage your outer hips, hug in, lift up higher, and then see if you can float your arms. All of the muscular work in your legs and your hips are what's keeping your low back safe and keeping you upright. Lower your hands down, stay on your hands a moment, just level your hips, try to reach the outer hips back. And then you can come down onto the forearms for just about 5 breaths. I don't want to take this too low right now. We're still in the active phase of the practice. If you're on your forearms, maybe let the head release for a moment, just lengthening out through the back of the neck. Maybe letting the head sway side to side if it's hanging downward. Kind of gets into the top of the shoulders there too. Lift the head, come up onto your hands, curl your back toes under. Take the right leg up and back behind you, 3-legged dog, and then step the right foot between your hands. Rise up to crescent warrior. Inhale, the arms rise up. Exhale, lower your back, heel warrior 2. Keep the right toes pointed forward. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And then keep your front knee bent. Let's come into side angle. So last time we did forearm to thigh. You can do that again if that's enough for you. If the hips are tight, stay there. Otherwise, you can grab a block or just place your hand on the floor outside of your right foot. And your top arm is reaching over, your inner edge of your right knee is pointed forward. Push into the back foot and reach your top arm long. Reach into your back leg, turn the chest open, breathe. Really present in your feet, really planting them down. One more breath. Half moon pose, top hand to your hip, look forward. Shift your right hand forward, bring the block along if you'd like to. Straighten your bottom leg, reach out through your left leg. Turn your left arm, reach your left arm up. Let's keep a flexion through the left foot and spread the toes. It just helps the brain to connect to that back foot when we keep it engaged. So the brain is more aware of what the foot and the leg is doing. We're going to step this back to warrior two. Take your time. Plant the foot down, rise up, warrior two, and then exhale, windmill your hands to the floor. Nice and slow, level out through your hips. Step your back foot forward. Come into squat. Either your feet can be together or your feet can be wide. It's up to you. We are going to come into crow, our first arm balance, bakasana. So place the hands on the floor under your shoulders and spread through the fingers. You're going to try to be completely weight bearing on your hands. So get surface space going in your hands. And then lift your hips up, bring the knees high up onto the triceps. Shift your crown of the head forward, lean into the hands, get weight in the fingertips, and then see if the feet can float off the floor. Keep reaching forward through the crown of the head. If you bring the crown of the head down, you're more likely to just topple onto your head. Not what we're going for here. Lower the feet down to the floor and come into forward fold uttanasana. Let's counterpose the wrists. So your feet are under your hips, they're parallel to each other, and then you'll slide one hand and then the other under your feet. So the palms are against the soles of your feet. Can you bring the tips of the toes right up into the inner wrists? And then push the feet down into the base. Push the toes down into the heels of your hands. Knees can be bent here, of course. And if this is still too much for the low back or the back of your legs, you don't need to have the hands under your feet. It will help to counterpose the wrists. Release one hand and then the other hand. Push straight down into the feet, bend the knees a little bit, rise up to stand, arms reach up, palms together, bend the elbows, thumbs to the back of the head, lean the head back into the base of your thumbs, lift your elbows up, curl back, tailbone is lengthening down. Inhale, come upright, palms reach up, exhale, bend the elbows, bring your palms right down through center to uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen halfway forward. Left foot steps back to a lunge, lower the knee. Inhale, the arms rise up, hips go forward, lift through the front of the spine, hands come to the floor, and this will be the last vinyasa. So step back, plank pose, flow through your chaturanga, and then your upward dog or cobra, and then your downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here in downward dog. Let the head become heavy. Maybe turn the head a little bit from side to side, just wringing out any residual tension in the neck, sides of the neck. Bring the head back to center. Walk the hands back to the feet. Push down into the feet, bend the knees, come up into chair pose. I'm going to angle myself just a little bit so you can see me better. Cross the left ankle over the right knee. Palms come together and come into your one-legged chair. This little pigeon component to it. So keep your left ankle flexed. And then we're going to twist to the right and bring the left forearm to the sole of the left foot. Your right hand can be on your hip. Twisting right. I seem to be less steady on my right foot today, so I'm trying really hard to keep my gaze steady and my breath steady. All right, now let's try to bring the elbow to the arch of the foot. So hold on to the heel with your right hand. Slide nice and slow. See if the left elbow can come to the sole of the foot. Bring the right hand back to the hip. Just pause here. If you're starting to get any discomfort in the low back or in the left hip, as the lower we go down, the more it's gonna open the hip. So if you're already at your max, don't go down any further. Or maybe the low back is feeling this, so just stay higher up if you need to. And if you want to try to bring the upper arm, I'm wobbling a lot, so I'm gonna really focus. Upper arm to the sole of the foot. If you can get that, then bend the elbows. Palms together. Keep twisting to the right. Keep the gaze very sharply steady on one spot on the floor. And then we'll come out of this nice and slow. So right hand to heel, slowly unwind, slowly come up. Left foot down. Stand up. Inhale, arms reach up. I feel like that was not a graceful dismount on my part. Come right down through center, forward, fold. Bend the knees a little bit, reach the spine forward, inhale, and walk the hands forward to downward facing dog. The moment you have been looking forward to pigeon pose on the left side. So lift your left leg up behind you, open the hip, bend the knee, pause here in your scorpion dog. Pulling the heel in closer to the outer right thigh, moving the outer thigh back. Straighten the left leg, square the hips. And then left shin comes forward into your pigeon. We're going to stay upright. So lengthen the back leg behind you. You have your left knee just behind the left wrist. And your shin will probably be angled down a little bit, unless you're really flexible, and then your shin will be parallel to the front of the mat. So we'll come up a little higher here. And we're going to hold it for just briefly. So walk the hands in closer, maybe up onto the leg, maybe on blocks. And then really start to activate the strength in your legs. Push into the front shin, push it down. Firm your outer hips in. Try to scissor your legs in, float up higher, and reach the arms back. Just float for another breath. A lot of strength in the legs here. Lower the hands down to the floor. And then you can stay on your hands, or you can come down onto forearms. And we'll just do about 5 breaths here, just letting this hip continue to open. If you are on your forearms, maybe let the head just lower down. Get some space in the back of the neck and in the sides of the neck. And let's do one more breath here. Lift up through the head, come back onto your hands, curl your back toes under, and let's bring the left leg up and back to 3-legged dog. Lift it up behind you, and then step the left foot between your hands. Rise up to crescent warrior. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, lower your back heel, warrior 2. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale to side angle pose. Use the block if you want to take it a little bit lower, or you can do forearm to thigh. Keep it a little higher if you want. So push into the back foot wherever you are with your left arm, whether it's on a block on the floor or on your forearm on your thigh. Push into the back foot. Reach out through the top arm. Reach through the crown of the head. And then breathe into the back body. Try not to tilt the chin up. Keep the neck and the chin in a nice neutral position. One more breath. Top hand to your hip, look down, half moon pose. So push the weight into the left foot, bring your left hand forward under the shoulder, and your right leg floats back behind you. Flex the ankle, spread the toes, reach up through the right arm. Again, your gaze is steady. Your toes are spread above the lifted foot. One more breath. Try not to lock out the knee of your standing leg. Step back, warrior 2. Rise up, inhale. Windmill your hands down to the floor. Find a lunge, level out through your hips. And we're going to step the back foot in and bring the feet together for another squat, this time side crow. Lots of arm balances today. Actually, the good news is we only have one side crow on each side, and then we have one more arm balance after that. So let's take the hands over to the right. I'll angle myself a little bit. Hands over to the right, knees shift over to the left. So I have my legs together. I'm on the balls of my feet. The heels are lifted. And the hands are off to the right. And you can either turn the hands to face the side or the fingers face forward. It's up to you, whatever feels like a more natural angle for you. I have mine somewhere in between. And then you're going to lift the hips up. Bring the right outer thigh to the left upper arm bone and bend the elbows into a chaturanga shape. And then can you lift your feet and balance on your left upper arm? And my head is turned to the left. One more breath. Lower the feet down. Same thing other side. Start with your feet together, your heels lifted. Take your knees to the right and your hands over to the left. And then you're going to get weight bearing on your hands, so you've got to create a lot of surface space. So spread your fingers, hands are shoulder distance apart. Lift your hips a little higher. Try to get your left outer thigh onto the right upper arm bone and hinge forward, and the weight is in your fingertips, and then lift your feet. Your head is looking to the right, crown of the head reaches forward. Don't hold your breath. Lower your feet and come onto your knees. We're just going to counterpose that a little bit through the wrists and through the spine. So we'll just do a very simple camel pose. So you're on your knees. Your toes can either be curled under or have your tops of the feet down. It's up to you. Interlace the fingers behind you. Firm your thighs. Lift your heart. Press your knuckles down. And then try to push your palms in towards each other. Maybe your gaze turns up. You're leaning back, pretending you're leaning back over a big beach ball. Hips forward, thighs are really firm. You're kind of hugging the femur bones with your thigh muscles. Your thigh muscles are like big boa constrictors. They're just squeezing the femur bones. Lift the heart, lengthen the tailbone down, press the palms together, and then come up. Release your hands. Bring your hands to the floor and walk your feet under you. Come to forward fold. Let the head release down. And last time through, push into the feet. Inhale, rise up through the arms. Palms come together. Bend the elbows. Thumbs to the back of your head. Lean your head back into the base of your thumbs. Try to make this back bend in the upper back only. So tailbone lengthens down, firm your thighs, point your elbows up, and then slightly back. And then inhale, lift up, reach the arms up. Exhale, come right down through center, hands to the floor. Bend the knees, inhale, lengthen halfway. Fold Uttanasana. Just let the head release here. And step it back to downward facing dog. Okay, so I've been prepping you for this final arm balance, which is Ekapada Galavasana. It's commonly known as flying pigeon. So walk your hands back towards your feet. Bend your knees and inhale, your arms reach up. So let's start by crossing the right ankle over the left knee. We've been here before. And then you're going to bring your hands to your heart and lower down. Can you get the forearms onto the inner shin? Keep the right ankle flexed. Now for Ekapada Galavasana, we have to hook this right foot around the upper left arm bone and really hang the foot on tightly. So lower your fingertips to the floor and shift forward on your left foot, so you're more onto the toes. Lower your hips a little more, and then hook the right foot around the left upper arm bone as high up as you can. You're placing the shin on both upper arms. Lean forward, spread your fingers, pick up your back foot, maybe extend your back leg back. Really hang on to the upper arm bone with your foot. Come back in, lower down. Both feet to the floor, Uttanasana. That is my tighter hip, so probably not the most graceful version of arm balance. We'll see what happens on the other side. So let's bend the knees, reach up through the arms, and we'll do the other side. So I'm going to come forward a little bit so I don't kick my back wall. Cross the left ankle over the right knee. Bring the hands to your heart. And hinge forward. Maybe bring forearms to inner left thigh. Crown of the head is reaching forward. Look down rather than forward so you're not cranking your neck too much. And then for the arm balance, we've really got to hook this left foot around the upper arm and we'll really create a strong connection. Otherwise, you'll probably just slip right off. So bring your hands down to the floor. You'll lift your heel, lower your hips a little more until you get the palms flat, the fingers spread. Hook the left the left foot high up on the right upper arm. Hinge forward. Pick up your back foot and then see if you can extend your back leg. There it is. It's a lot about flexibility in the hips here. And strengthen the core. Lower the right foot down. Come out the same way you came in. Actually, just straighten your bottom leg and release your top leg. Forward fold. Walk your hands forward to downward dog. And that was our apex pose. That was our big one. So we're going to just start winding it down from here. So lower the knees down to the floor, and just to get some fluidity in the spine, start to move through a cat-cow from all fours here. And feel free to make this more of a dynamic, a circular, three-dimensional cat-cow if you want to start to just circle through the hips. Instead of just doing the arching and rounding action, make it more of a circular pattern, circling the head and the hips, and then you'll go the other way. This is one of my favorite versions of cat-cow. It really gets into any tension that is hanging on in the outer hips. And then we'll counterpose the wrists again, since we were placing a lot of weight on them just now. So just interlace the fingers behind you from this kneeling Vajrasana and push the knuckles down, press the palms towards each other, lift up through the heart. And then release your hands. All right. A little bit more core work. It's important that we have strong core to protect the low back, so we just keep at it. So come into boat pose, sitting in the middle of the mat, and then reach your legs up, your arms forward, boat pose, Navasana. Keep the spine lifted up, so we're not just rounding the low back down to the floor, you're actively lifting the heart up like there's a magnet on your heart and it's drawing up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, let's sink it back into a low boat, Ardha Navasana. Inhale, come up to boat and just pull the right knee in towards you. Exhale to half boat. Inhale to boat with just the left knee pulled in. Exhale, half boat. Inhale up, right knee in. Exhale, half boat. Inhale, left knee in. Exhale, half boat. Stay here. Extend the legs, hovering as much of yourself as you can off the floor, but stay low. And then scissor your legs up and down. Point the toes. Alternate lifting and lowering one leg. And then scissor your legs in and out. So open them and then cross the ankle, and then alternate which ankle is crossing over. Let's go 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it down. Everything just comes down. Just rest here. Take a few smooth, even breaths. Take your arms out in a diamond shape. So your hands are just on the floor behind you. Your elbows are bent about 90 degrees. Your hands don't need to touch. But your arms are sort of angled out to the side. And I'm just going to get a rocking action going in your hips here. So first engage just your right butt cheek and then release it. And then engage just the left butt cheek and then release it. And then the right, release, left, release. Right, release, left, release. Start to speed it up. So you're just engaging one side of the glutes and then release it and then the other. And then see if you can go a little faster until you start to feel your whole lower body rocking. The hips, the legs, the feet, everything is just being gently rocked here. Getting a little bit of release through the hips and the low back. Just go for a few more rounds of of this. A couple more breaths. Just enjoy this gentle rocking. And then start to release it. Let's grab our block. We will release more of the back with a supported bridge. So once you have your block, lie back down, feet to the floor. Lift your hips and place the block under your hips, and then just keep your feet on the floor under your knees. Arms are by your side, and just let the weight of your hips and your sacrum just rest straight down onto the block. I have the block on the medium position here. You can have yours on the low position if you like. There's not much stretching sensation going on here. It's really just releasing through the low back and through the sacrum and extending, just softly extending through the front of the spine. Let's start to take the legs both up into the air. I'm finding a mild inversion here. Hips can be on the floor if you prefer to not use the block. And again, there shouldn't be much of a stretching sensation here. We're just exploring the benefits of inverting, softly inverting. Hips are just slightly higher than the heart, and we're just watching the effects of gravity on the venous system in particular, and the lymphatic system. Start to circle through your ankles. This is just helping, again, to release any stagnant fluids in the low body, and then circle them the other way, releasing stagnant fluids and recirculating those fluids. This is a good one to do if you've been on your feet a lot. This is good, recommended for people who are going on long hikes. And then you'll just let your feet be still, ankles are still. Lower the left foot down, bend the right knee and hug it in towards you, and then extend your left leg forward. Now this is going to get into the left hip flexor more since your hips are elevated on a block. If you would rather not have your hips on a block here, completely fine. You can remove it and do the same pose. This is a wind releasing pose. Apanasana, hugging the right knee in, extending the left leg forward. And then we'll slowly switch legs, bring the left knee in towards you, hug it in, extend the right leg forward. Actively lengthen your right leg forward. Actively hug your left leg in closer. And then let's place both feet on the floor, remove the block, and we'll find a twist. So feet to the floor, arms out to the side, knees are bent, legs are together. Let's pick the feet up and shift your hips to the left just an inch or so, and then lower both of your legs to the right. Send your top hip, your left hip, away from the ribs, so towards the front of the mat. And then you're trying to pin both of your shoulder blades down. If you like, look out over your left arm. Breath is slowing down here, heart rate is slowing down. Just starting to prep the nervous system for Shavasana. Let's bring the knees back up, feet to the floor. Shift your hips a bit to the right. Place them down. Pick the feet up and lower both of your legs over to the left. Knees are still bent. You're stacking your legs, and then you'll reach out longer through the right arm. Try to bring the right shoulder blade down. Perhaps look out over the right arm. top hip, your right hip is moving away from the ribs. And then your knees come up, your feet come to the floor. If there's a final pose you'd like to do before Shavasana, maybe happy baby or something else that you'd like, maybe a brief shoulder stand or a plow pose, please feel free to find that. If you just want to hug the legs in towards you, you can do that. Give yourself about 30 more seconds. Whatever your final pose is, make it your own. And again, I threw out some ideas: happy baby, plow pose, shoulder stand, or just hugging the knees in. Continuing to smooth out the breath. Start to soften the breath as well. So if you had an Ujjayi breath going, then release that. Let the breath become softer. It's still smooth, it's still full. You're just not exaggerating it. And then whatever your final pose is, begin to release and come into your Shavasana. Extend the legs forward. Arms are by your side but angled out a little bit, and turn the palms up. Have the center of the back of your head on the floor. Your toes will be slightly turned out from the midline, and that way we know that you are letting go of tension in your glutes and across your sacrum. Your eyes are closed, your face is soft. Your breath is natural, breathing through the nose. You're allowing the weight of your bones to just surrender down to the floor. Try to release any gripping, any clinging, any holding on. Everywhere in the body. Observe the breath. Do 5 more smooth breaths here through the nose. With every exhale, you continue to soften. With every inhale, imagine you're breathing in light to the inner body. Begin to deepen the breath. Start to find movement through the fingers and the toes and the wrists. And then bend your knees, place your feet on the floor, or hug the legs in towards you again. And you'll roll over to one side, please. Use your hands to press yourself up to seated. Hands come together at the heart. Close your eyes, notice how you feel physically, mentally, energetically. And then bow the head to your heart and lift your gaze. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you soon. Namaste.